Hello everyone and welcome to another Middlegame episode with Coach B and masteryourchess.com. In this video we're going to go over a couple of games and focus on how Grandmasters effectively use the knight in their games. This first position was reached after 18 moves in a game played by Topalov vs Ivanchuk in 2008. If you analyze this position, you might notice that White's bishop on e2 is very active. You might notice that also Black has a weak double isolated pawn on b5, and White also has more central space and kingside space advantage. Black has a queenside space advantage, and White's pawns on a3 and c2 are both weak and under pressure. Looking at those imbalances, you might think that White is better off. However, surprisingly, Black is better in this position. Now, why isn't Black's position inspiring confidence? Well, it's the knight. The knight is horribly placed right now. The queen has to do babysitting duty protecting the knight, and also the knight cannot go to a4 or c4 as those squares are being taken away by the pawn on b3. So in a chess game, if you've got a problem or a weakness, that doesn't mean that you are doomed, it means that you have to fix it. So here, Black knows that the key to winning this game is improving the knight's position. Knowing that the knight has no future on b6, Ivanchuk finds an excellent move, knight to d7. This is the only knight move that doesn't give away a piece. Now the Black knight is not being attacked by the White queen anymore, which also frees up Black's queen, which threatens to take on c2. The pawn on b5 cannot be taken with bishop to b5 because that loses immediately after queen to a5 check, picking up the bishop. And here White replied with rook to a2, protecting on a3 and also on c2. Coming back, bishop to d3 is also possible. However, after knight c5 and let's say castle, the knight taking on d3 and c takes d3, after queens to c3, Black has a much better position and also will be able to capture one more pawn. So after the rook moved to a2, Black here responded with knight to b8. The knight is heading for c6, where it will kick White's queen and simultaneously create tactical tricks based on knight to b4, since the a3 pawn is pinned. So from here, White replied with castles, knight to c6, queen to d2. Moving the queen to d3 would be a terrible mistake because after knight to b4, the rook and the queen are forked. Again, White cannot capture the knight because after that Black will win the rook on a2. Queen to d2 was played, again keeping an eye on b4. And now queen to b6 check. This is another important move which will force White's king in the corner, opening up back rank mate threats. Also, it's going to help out in the endgame since the king will not be that close to the center. So king to h1 was played, queen to a5, queen takes on a5, rook takes on a5. And now Black has many chances to attack the vulnerable pawns on a3 and c2. He can do it via knight to b4 or knight to d4. The rook on the c file could come to a8 as well, putting pressure on a3. And from here, Black ended up winning the game. They were also in time pressure. And I'm just going to skim through the moves really quick till the end so you can see how the game ended up. And here, White resigned. You should be aware that if your knight isn't taking part in the battle, you have to somehow make it take part. This isn't easy, but it all starts from the awareness that there is a problem, and once you address the problem, you must insist on solving it. This next example, it's a nice demonstration of this process. This position was reached just after 10 moves in a game played by the Israeli Ruiz Michael versus the Hungarian Balogh Saba in 2007. Knowledge tells us that knights are strong on advanced squares, the 5th and the 6th rank being the most desirable. Awareness leads us to the fact that c6 would be a hole if black no longer had his light square bishop defending it. A knight on f5 would also be very active. Willpower is the thing that allows you to insist on turning these elements into some form of positive reality. In this position, white has central pawn majority, and the e-pawn gives him a central space advantage. Black's king isn't castled yet, which gives white some options that a castled king wouldn't offer him. For example, black won't want to start a fight until he gets his king to safety. With this information in mind, white's next move should make perfect sense. And here, white played knight to d4. As you could see, he is targeting both c6 and f5. Here, black castled. Coming back, I want to mention that even though black is attacking the pawn on e4 3 times, it will not be very wise to take it. After knight takes on e4 and white captures back, bishop takes e4, bishop takes e4, knight takes e4, rook e1, and then knight retreating to f6. After queen e2, the game is already over. Since black cannot castle because he's going to lose his bishop, and he's going to be stuck in the center for a long time. So after black castled, white here played e5, from which black replied with bishop takes g5, king takes g5, knight to d5, and then knight to c6, achieving the desired location. From here, black replied with knight takes on c3, b takes c3, queen to e8, and then queen to d5, protecting the knight. The knight on c6 paralyzes black's whole army, and black's position fell apart very quickly. After this, black played king to h8, bishop a3, f5, f4, rook to g8, rook a to d1, bishop f8, and now knight to d8. What's white's idea? Well, he has a double threat. He has the threat of knight to f7 check, winning the queen, and he also has the threat of the queen taking the rook on a8. From here, the game continued with rook takes on d8, queen takes d8, queen a4, bishop takes on c5, bishop takes c5, queen d2, queen e4, rook to f3, and then black resigned. So as we've seen in this game, the key move that led to victory was the knight move on the advanced square c6, which was an outpost, a hole in black's camp. So when you're fighting against the knight, you want to remember this anti-knight strategy. Try to take away any advanced support points of the knight. Do not let the knight access those. This next position was reached after 15 moves in a game played by Jeremy Silliman versus Monchalin in 1985. In this game, white notices the weaknesses on b6 and e5, and even the potential weakness on c5 after a well-timed a4 to a5. This push undermines the defender on b6, and of course both b6 and e5 might become tender if white can bring pieces to attack them. So what pieces in the white's army will be able to exert pressure against the designated targets? Well, clearly the bishop can't, since it's a light square bishop and the pawns lay on dark squares. The knight, though, would be a tower of strength on c4, where it would kick the enemy queen and take direct aim on both b6 and e5. White's queen can join the party on e3, hitting c5 in anticipation of the a4 to a5 break, also giving e4 some support. While placing it on c3 seems even better since it eyes both c5 and e5. Therefore, white played the excellent move knight to b1. This move might seem counterintuitive, but is very logical. The knight returns to its beginning square because it just wasn't happy on c3. Remember that a piece is only happy if it's on a square where it helps with the overall game plan. In this case, the c3 knight might look okay on c3, but it's not addressing all the issues that were discussed earlier. However, wouldn't it be a killer on c4? And suddenly, one sees that this odd retreat ties everything together. c3 is now clear for white's queen, while the knight will head to c4 via a3 or d2. After knight moved to b1, black played queen to f6. After this, white replied with queen to c3, knight to d6, knight to d2, e6, and now a5. And from here, white went on winning this game. So you should now know a part of knight basics is to look for advanced outposts or holes in the enemy's camp, preferably on the 5th and 6th rank. Even though you might lose a couple of moves to get there, it will definitely pay off in the end. And if you need to fight against the knight, try to limit its ability to reach such outposts using your pawns or minor pieces. If you liked my video, please subscribe and don't forget to check out my new website, masteryourchess.com, where you can learn, practice, test, and master your chess knowledge.